So, how are you?
I'm great. I mean, we have 92 million people watch the show. I'm fantastic.
I know that the hype was there like from the beginning. I think there was so much, thanks to Jack Ryan and Reacher, I think there was just so much hope that Amazon was getting it right.
Yeah, and I think from early days they were very committed to the show. They were very involved, and we could feel that they really liked the show from the very beginning. And so I think we kind of knew that they were going to go all in on this one, but I just didn't. You can go all in on something, but then the fans don't respond. So I'm just so grateful that the thing that we made that we love, that you all see it, and that you love it too. And so that's a very fulfilling feeling. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm guessing that was important for you to have Amazon backing you the whole way to really push for this series.
Yeah, I think Amazon has believed in it from the very, very beginning. I mean, if you talk to Ben Watkins, our showrunner, he would say they were collaborators and great supporters from the very start. And we often saw them on set, and so they've just been part of the team, really. That's great to have them as part of the team because they then believe in it, and then they've really done their job to make sure it's the success that it is around the world, and that just makes our all our jobs easier in the long run.
So what was it like for you getting that early season two renewal? Because it doesn't happen often anymore.
Well, it was just another acknowledgement of the work that we'd already put in, even though nobody had seen it outside of the Amazon, the studios, and some of the actors and the team. They believed in it. They really believed that it was going to be what it has become, which is the next big hit. And so I'm really proud of Amazon for seeing it and for acknowledging what they had, and there was a little bit of a hiccup, right? Because we had the strikes, and so it was going to force them into a position where if they had to wait until now to greenlight season two, there would have been a year wait before you got season two. And now that we've already shot season two, you guys will all get it next year, which will keep the momentum going on the show, which I think is really important for, it's part of the chemistry of getting this right with streamers. We're no longer making cable television the way that we used to. And so it's part of the alchemy of how we get this right. And I think we're seeing streamers kind of um, doing two seasons pretty quickly because the turnaround time is so much higher for them. Now we just hope for season three. That's what we're waiting on.
With the success, I can see it coming.
I hope so from your lips.
So let's go into like Chief Anderson. What was it about her that drew you in, that made you realize this was the character you wanted?
Oh, I mean, what's not to like about her? She's driven, she's ambitious, she's got grit, she's funny, she's got all kinds of sides to her that are really exciting to play. Um, and I think she's got ambitions for herself, which are beyond the chief job, which means that there's growth there. There's things to play with, that there's a future for her. And so that's exciting for any actor to get their teeth into, is when a character has legs, and that they're going to go somewhere. And that we don't know where they're going to go yet, but they've got plans for her. So that's exciting. Sign me up.
I say she's very politically minded, and
Mm-hmm.
Cross comes up with it at the end. It's like, oh, you're running for mayor.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that like for you, seeing that character progression of where it could go?
Yeah, I mean, I think uh, it helps me understand why she is the way she is. she doesn't, because she sees, the chief, then maybe mayor, then maybe governor, I mean, that she has ambitions for herself, that Cross could blow up if he doesn't behave, and so I think that explains a lot of her methodology to me. It explains her psychology. She's really worried about her job, I mean, female chiefs are unicorns anyway. And there's lots of reasons to want to get rid of them. And so to have a huge scandal in the city would be something that would be could be very detrimental to her future prospects. So keeping Cross in line is part of her job, or part of what she thinks her job is. I mean, she's not always right, even though she decides that she is.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, she doesn't always make the best decisions for the people
Right,
and the
right. I
department.
mean, are does everybody? I mean, like, I mean, I think that, people have to make big mistakes, right? And I think that she sees herself as trying to manage a problem that could be bigger if she doesn't, right? And I think she's trying to keep a lid on something that could get very, very ugly. And, I love that the show has been updated to include, the kinds of real world problems that we see happening in America with the clashes of race. And I think those are very scary for high profile politicians and chiefs of police who could easily see that spiraling into a much more serious and deadly situation where you have mass riots, right? So I think on some level, yes, her ambition is playing into her decision making, but she's also trying to protect the city from something that could get really ugly. Um, and Cross, Cross doesn't play by the rules. It's his fault, he gets himself in his own trouble, and she has to pick up the mess, right? So, somebody has to put him in his place, right?
I mean, there are flaws to her as well, and I just think back to TV shows like 10 years ago. Having a flawed female character was a death sentence for that character. No one wanted.
100%,
But
right?
now we are moving into a more realistic world. Like we
Thank goodness.
finally get those characters that we are as people. What's
Yeah.
that like for you getting to show these flaws and the humanity that comes with it?
I mean, hallelujah, right? I mean, honestly, uh, there was a time when I was not acting because the characters that were on offer were vapid and shells of women, and I was just like, this is what my career is supposed to be, or grandmas, forget it, I'm not interested. So I stopped for a while, and I was very, very happy to see the change in representation for women, certainly women of a certain age, Nicole, I was saying in another interview that Nicole Kidman is doing us a solid right now because she is really bringing it for the middle-aged ladies. Because it's time. It's time. And what's funny is that it is one of those things that I don't think we can stop, right? Like we're just starting to see real characters who have all kinds of complexities and flaws in female characters and characters of color, and so I think that trajectory is changing the nature of television and the nature of film. However, we can't stop. We can't be like, oh, thanks, Nicole, and then just like all go back to eating bonbons and forgetting that we actually had a life. Yeah, I mean, I think we have to keep going because I don't know if there's some crazy stuff going on in the world right now. Like, I don't think this is because they want to be giving female characters this kind of platform. I think that if some people had their way, we wouldn't be here at all. So I think the fight is to continue for representation and for more complex, diverse characters and inclusion of voices of all kinds. because that is actually more true and representative of who we are as people. I watch a lot of British television because of that very reason, that the Brits figured this out a long time ago, that female characters in their 50s were some of the most interesting characters to watch, and especially the ones who are flawed. And so I'm glad that America and North America in general are catching on.
So just as my last question, because I'm going to have to wrap up soon, how would you describe Chief Anderson in 3 words or phrases?
Okay, 3 words. I would say she gritty, ambitious. What's the third one? Gritty, ambitious, and flawed.
Also say determined to keep cross in line.
Yeah, determined to keep crossing line. Yeah, and like she's a character who really, I don't think she, when you get to the last episode, you'll see a whole different side of her. And that's also there underneath all of that. That person is there too, that grandmother, that person who actually thinks Cross is really good at his job and is really worried about him. And that person is there too. But sometimes she has to remind him that she's his boss, you know.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I am so glad like season 2 is ready because I want to
Ready?
watch it now. Like
I
I'm
know, me
ready for it.
too. Me too. I'm so ready.
Yeah. And
Thank
then
you so
fingers
much for your
crossed for
time.
season 3.
Yes, everybody just, if you haven't binged it, now is the moment, because that will get us a season 3. So thank you so much to everybody and to you, Alexander. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. You too.